The Sarathian Grand Court was a hall of living crystal. Its ceiling shimmered like a night sky full of distant stars, and its floor reflected every figure like a still lake. Tall, alien nobles, their slender forms dressed in silver and deep blue, stood in silence as the human delegation entered. At their head walked Captain Aaron Holt, broad-shouldered, disciplined, and wearing the dark uniform of Earth's defense fleet. Aaron had been in palaces before, but never one like this. The walls pulsed faintly with energy as though the whole room was alive. The Sarathians watched every step of the humans, their bright eyes glowing faintly, some with curiosity, some with disdain. At the far end, on a raised platform, stood Princess Liara. She was radiant, her long silver-white hair braided with jewels that caught the light. Her violet eyes glittered like sharp crystal shards. She looked down at Aaron as though he were some curious insect brought into her garden. "So this is humanity's champion?" Liara's voice carried clearly through the hall, light and sharp at once. "The one my mother praises is brave and noble? I expected more." The Sarathian nobles chuckled softly. Even without understanding every human expression, Aaron knew mockery when he heard it. He stood still, his face calm, though inside his soldier's instincts told him to stay alert. Aaron bowed slightly, showing respect without weakness. "I am Captain Aaron Holt of Earth. I came here in peace, Princess. We are allies now, not enemies." Liara tilted her head, amused. "Allies? A species that barely left its own system? Short-lived creatures who burn fast and die young. What use are you to us?" The laughter grew louder this time. Some nobles openly whispered, pointing at Aaron as if he were a curiosity from a traveling zoo. Aaron didn't speak at once. He had learned long ago that silence could cut deeper than any sword. He met Liara's gaze without flinching. She expected anger, but his calm unsettled her for reasons she didn't understand. Before Aaron could reply, a soft but commanding voice echoed through the court. "Enough, Liara." The hall fell silent instantly. From behind the princess, the Sarathian empress stepped forward. She wore no crown. She didn't need one. Her presence alone was like gravity itself. The air seemed to still when she moved. The empress's eyes, a deep violet darker than her daughter's, rested on Aaron for a long moment. Then she turned to Liara. "Do you know who stands before you?" Liara frowned. "A human warrior, nothing more." The empress's expression hardened. "You speak carelessly, child. You mock your own blood." The hall rippled with shock. Sarathian nobles looked at one another, confused. Liara blinked as though she had misheard. "What?" The empress's voice grew sharp as crystal. "He is your sire." The court erupted into gasps. Some nobles hissed in disbelief. Aaron's own eyes widened. "Excuse me?" he said, breaking his calm for the first time. Liara took a step forward, her face pale with fury and confusion. "Mother, what are you saying? This human, he cannot be—" "I speak truth," the empress said, cutting her off. "Captain, Aaron Holt saved my life long ago during the Orion Wars. Without his courage, there would be no Sarathian throne today. Our scientists preserved what was noble in him. And so, Liara, part of him lives in you." The words hung in the vast hall like thunder that refused to fade. Aaron looked stunned. He had fought in the Orion sector years ago, yes, but he had never seen the Sarathian Empress. He remembered fierce battles, burning ships, and rescuing stranded civilians from collapsing outposts. Could she have been among them? "I don't understand," Aaron said slowly. "I've never even—" "You need not understand yet," the Empress interrupted, her tone calm but firm. "The truth will come in time." She turned to her daughter again. "Liara, you will show respect to this man. You will honor him, as I do." But Liara was trembling with rage. "This is madness. A human cannot be royal blood. I refuse to believe it." The Empress's gaze sharpened. "Refuse if you wish, but the truth will not bend to your will." Aaron stepped forward slightly. "Your Majesty," he said carefully, I came here to speak of peace, not family ties I don't understand. If this is some kind of mistake, there is no mistake, the Empress replied. And peace is exactly why you are here. But first, you must survive. The last words chilled the hall. Several Sarathian nobles exchanged dark looks. Aaron's instincts sharpened. Something was wrong. This wasn't just politics, it was danger. The Empress gestured to her guards. Escort Captain Holt to his chambers. No one is to touch him. He is under my protection. As Aaron was led away, he caught Liara's eyes one last time. They were burning, not just with anger, but with confusion and something else. Fear. Perhaps later. In the private guest wing of the palace, Aaron paced the crystal floor. The strange revelation from the throne hall echoed in his mind. Your sire. What did that even mean in Sarathian science? Was this some genetic trick? A political ploy? He replayed his memories of the Orion Wars, the raids, the rescues. He had saved many lives back then. Could one of them have been the Empress herself? He didn't even remember seeing her, unless she had traveled incognito. There was a faint knock at the door. A human diplomat, pale and nervous, stepped inside. Captain Holt, word is spreading fast. Some of the Sarathian nobles are furious. They think this blood claim dishonors their royal line. Aaron nodded grimly. Let me guess. They won't just argue about it. The diplomat hesitated. There are whispers about an attempt to remove you, before anything is proven. Aaron gave a humorless smile. Figures. Welcome to diplomacy. Back in the throne room, Liara confronted her mother in private. How dare you humiliate me in front of the entire court? The Empress's voice was cold. It is not humiliation to speak the truth. You are proud of your lineage. Be proud of his courage, too. He risked his life to save mine when no one else would. Liara clenched her fists. Even if this is true, I will not accept him. I will not call a human warrior my sire. You may not have a choice, the Empress replied, her gaze distant. Dark forces move in the shadows of this court. If you wish to keep your crown and your life, you will stand beside him. Liara turned away, her expression unreadable. That night, Aaron stood on a high balcony looking out at the alien city glittering like ice under 3 moons. His mind was a storm. Your sire. The words didn't feel real. Yet in the streets, below he could see shadows moving that didn't belong to friendly guards. Someone was coming for him. And if the Empress was telling the truth, this was no ordinary diplomatic visit. His past had followed him to the stars. And now, it might. Get him killed. The Sarathian palace never slept. Its living walls glowed faintly under the 3 moons and its guard towers pulsed with energy fields. Yet Captain Aaron Holt knew danger could still slip through. Inside his crystal guest chamber, Aaron kept his uniform jacket unbuttoned but his sidearm within easy reach. He had learned long ago that in alien courts assassination attempts could happen just as easily as polite dinners. As he scanned the room for hidden threats, a soft chime rang at the door. Captain Holt, came a calm Sarathian voice. Permission to enter? Aaron frowned and kept one hand near his weapon. Who is it? High Scholar Marith, advisor to the Empress. I bring information about your past. Aaron hesitated, then opened the door carefully. The scholar was an elderly Sarathian with silver skin faintly etched by glowing lines, living proof of long life and wisdom. Marith bowed slightly. May we speak in private? Aaron gestured to a chair. You have 5 minutes. Start talking. Marith's expression softened. You do not remember it, do you? The day you saved the Empress. Aaron shook his head. I saved a lot of people in the Orion Wars. I didn't take notes. Marith smiled faintly. It was during the siege of Valkros, outpost. The Empress, and then still a crown princess, traveled under guard, but her shuttle was struck by raiders. You led a boarding party, fought through enemy fire, and pulled her from the wreck. She never forgot. Aaron frowned, trying to remember. The siege. Yes. The burning decks. The smell of scorched metal. He had rescued a group of Cirathian officers, but none of them had identified themselves as royalty. So she used, "What? My blood?" Aaron asked slowly. Marith nodded. "A fragment of your genetic code. It was preserved and used to strengthen her heir. Princess Liara carries your courage and instinct, though she does not yet understand it." Aaron let out a sharp breath. "That explains her temper, at least." Marith's smile faded. "Do not joke too easily, Captain. Many Cirathian nobles despise this truth. They will not allow a human link to the royal line without resistance. You are in danger." "I figured that out," Aaron said dryly. "So, what now? Am I supposed to start giving fatherly advice to a princess who wants me dead?" Marith tilted his head. "Perhaps not advice, but protection. Yes. The Empress believes only you can keep her daughter alive in the days to come." Aaron blinked. "Why me?" Marith leaned closer. "Because someone in this palace plots against Liara, too." In another wing of the palace, Princess, Liara stood alone in her private chamber, staring out at the glowing city. Her reflection looked back at her from the crystal window. Flawless features, proud eyes. But tonight those eyes held doubt. She clenched her fists. "He cannot be my sire," she whispered to herself. "He is only human. This must be some trick." Her maid, a young Cirathian attendant, entered silently. "Your Highness, the court is restless. Many nobles whisper about the Empress's words. Some call it a disgrace." Liara turned sharply. "Let them whisper. I will not be shamed." But her voice trembled slightly. Deep inside, she could not stop thinking about the man in the throne hall. He had stood calm while nobles mocked him. He had not flinched under her insults. Something about that quiet strength disturbed her, because it felt familiar. Before she could speak further, the lights in her chamber flickered. A faint hum passed through the walls. Not the soft rhythm of the living palace, but something harsher. "Did you hear that?" Liara asked sharply. The maid nodded nervously. "Yes, Your Highness, it came from the outer hall." Liara moved quickly, activating her wristcom. "Guards, report!" But no answer came. She opened the door and froze. Two masked Cirathians stood outside, weapons drawn. They were not palace guards. Before Liara could shout, the first attacker lunged. She twisted aside, fast, trained from years of combat lessons, but the second attacker aimed a stun lance at her chest. Suddenly, a sharp energy blast rang out from the far end of the corridor. Both attackers spun toward the sound. Too late. A human figure charged forward, weapon raised. "Captain Holt." Aaron fired twice, forcing the attackers to scatter. "Princess, move!" he shouted. Liara glared at him, but obeyed, ducking behind. A pillar as Aaron advanced with soldier's precision. One attacker tried to rush him. Aaron dropped him with a swift blow to the neck. The second attacker vanished down a side hall before Aaron could get a clear shot. Palace guards finally arrived, but too late. The intruder was gone. Aaron helped Liara to her feet. "Are you hurt?" Liara yanked her arm back. "I didn't need your help," she snapped. Aaron raised an eyebrow. "Sure. You were about to take down two armed assassins with your winning smile?" Liara's cheeks burned, though she tried to hide it. "This changes nothing. I still don't believe what my mother said." Aaron shrugged. "Fine, don't believe it. But whoever sent those guys, they believe it enough to kill both of us." Later, in the Empress's private council chamber, the Empress listened silently as Aaron reported the attack. Liara stood beside him, arms crossed, refusing to meet his eyes. "This confirms what I feared," the Empress said finally. "Someone inside this palace wants to erase every trace of this truth, even if it means killing my daughter." Liara spoke sharply. "Then we must find them and destroy them." The Empress shook her head. "We will, but not by rushing blindly. The war games begin tomorrow. All noble houses will be present. Our enemies will reveal themselves in their arrogance." Aaron frowned. War games? Marith answered for the Empress. A ceremonial trial. Contestants prove strength, skill, and leadership before the court. Princess Liara must compete, and you will protect her. Liara turned on her mother. What? You want him as my guardian? This is absurd. The Empress's gaze was unyielding. It is not a request, Liara. You will work with him. You will learn to see beyond your pride. Aaron folded his arms. If you want me to watch her back, fine. But if she gets herself killed ignoring orders, don't blame me. Liara glared at him. I do not take orders from humans. Aaron smiled faintly. Good. I don't give them politely anyway. The Empress raised a hand, silencing both. Enough. The future of our empires and of Earth may rest on this bond. You will protect each other whether you wish to or not. Liara opened her mouth to protest, but the Empress's gaze froze her words. That night, Aaron prepared his weapons and armor while thinking about the strange turn his life had taken. A week ago, he was just a soldier on a peace mission. Now he was being told he had royal blood running through an alien princess, and someone wanted them both dead. Out on her balcony, Liara stared at the moons again, her anger still burning. But mixed now with something else she couldn't name. Why had he come to save her so fast? Why had he looked at her without fear even when death was near? Neither of them slept. Tomorrow, the war games would begin. And in the shadows of the Sarathian court, unseen eyes watched them both, planning their next strike. The Sarathian war games arena lay in the heart of the capital, a vast ring of crystal towers joined by hovering platforms. Thousands of Sarathians gathered to watch, their voices humming through the air like a living storm. The games were no mere sport. They were a tradition older than many planets, meant to prove courage and strength before the royal court. Captain Aaron Holt walked beside Princess Liara toward the preparation chamber. Both wore light combat armor, Aaron's black and gray Earthfleet suit, Liara's silver and violet plates shaped to Sarathian design. They hadn't spoken much since the attack the night before. Aaron broke the silence first. So, what exactly happens in these games? Please tell me it's not a poetry contest. Liara shot him an annoyed glance. It is combat and strategy. Contestants face physical trials, fight simulated battles, and sometimes real duels. It is not for the weak. Good, Aaron said calmly. I hate poetry contests. Despite herself, Liara almost smiled, but caught it quickly. Do not slow me down, human. I will win this on my own. Aaron adjusted his wrist scanner. Sure, but try not to run in front of the bullets. I'd hate to explain to your mother why her daughter got herself killed proving a point. Liara's violet eyes flashed, but she said nothing. The opening trial. The first challenge was called the Shifting Maze, a huge floating platform filled with moving walls of light and energy barriers. Contestants had to reach the center, avoiding traps and automated drones firing low-level stun beams. Noble houses cheered as their champions entered the maze. Liara strode forward with her usual confidence, but Aaron followed close behind, scanning the floor with soldier's caution. Keep left, Aaron called. These barriers are running on a pattern. 2 seconds down, 3 up. I do not need your advice, Liara muttered, then almost walked into a trap wall. Aaron yanked her back just in time. Sure you don't, Aaron said dryly. Watch your step. They moved as a team despite her protests, Aaron reading patterns, and Liara using her speed to disable drones with her energy blade. The crowd roared as they reached the center platform faster than any other pair. Above, in the royal balcony, the Empress nodded in approval. Some nobles frowned, whispering about the strange human who matched a Sarathian princess stride for stride. The center combat trial, the second event, was a duel ring. Not to the death, but still dangerous. Contestants faced elite fighters chosen by the court. Aaron stepped forward without fear as a tall Sarathian warrior in dark green armor entered the ring. Liara stood just outside, watching closely. The announcer's voice boomed. Captain Aaron, Holt of Earth versus Commander Valon of House Theric. The crowd cheered for Valon, a popular champion known for his ruthless skill. The duel began fast. Valen swung a curved blade, its edge humming with energy. Aaron dodged, using quick footwork instead of meeting strength with strength. He waited for openings, using his combat training to stay one step ahead. You move well, for a short-lived
Species, Valen taunted. Aaron blocked a strike with his forearm guard, twisted and sent the Cirathian stumbling with a precise counter-kick.
Funny, Aaron replied calmly. I was about to say you move slow for someone with 100-year lifespan. The crowd gasped as Aaron forced Valen down with a clever feint and disarm, ending the fight cleanly. No killing blow, only skill. Even Liara's eyes widened slightly. She hadn't expected him to win so easily. The sabotage after the combat trial, contestants rested in the preparation chamber. Aaron was checking his scanner when he noticed something strange. A faint energy spike from Liara's armor. Hold still, Aaron said sharply. Liara frowned. What are you doing? Your chest plate, Aaron muttered, scanning quickly. There's a power cell here that doesn't belong. He pried open a seam and found a tiny device pulsing faintly. His eyes narrowed. Explosive charge. Remote. Trigger. Liara froze. Someone planted this on me? Looks that way. Aaron deactivated the device with practiced hands. If this had gone off during the next event, you'd have been vaporized in front of half the court. Before Liara could reply, guards burst in. Princess Captain, you are needed at once. The final trial is about to begin. Aaron slipped the deactivated bomb into his belt pouch, his jaw tight. Whoever planted it was inside the palace. Final trial. War simulation. The last challenge was the command test. Contestants led teams through a battle simulation on a massive holographic field, commanding soldiers and drones against hostile forces. Victory required more than strength. It required leadership. Aaron and Liara stood on the command platform together, their holographic troops waiting for orders. Opposite them, a rival Cirathian noble, Lord Rennick, controlled his own forces. Liara began issuing rapid commands in the Cirathian tongue, moving units with perfect precision. But Rennick's forces countered each move easily, pushing them back. Your strategy's predictable, Aaron warned. He knows your style. Liara snapped, Do not interfere. Fine, Aaron said, stepping forward. Then you can watch me. He repositioned their troops using irregular human tactics, feints, false retreats, sudden flanking moves Cirathians rarely used. Liara's eyes widened as the tide of the simulation shifted. Combine your blade teams here, Aaron said, quickly. Cut his supply drones first, starve his front line. Liara hesitated only a second, then followed his lead. Together they outmaneuvered Rennick, collapsing his command structure and forcing a simulated surrender. The crowd roared. Even the Empress allowed herself a small smile. Liara tried to hide her admiration, but she couldn't deny Aaron's skill. After the games, when the event ended, Aaron and Liara walked out side by side. She finally spoke first, her voice quieter than before. You fight differently, she admitted. Unpredictable, even reckless. Aaron smirked. That's humanity for you. We don't live as long as Cirathians, so we learn fast. Liara looked away. Do not think this means I believe what my mother says. You may have skill, but you are not my sire. Aaron shrugged. Believe what you want. Just remember, someone tried to blow you up today. Liara stiffened. We will find them. And when we do, you'll glare at them until they surrender? Aaron cut in with a faint smile. Liara glared at him again, but this time with less heat. A dark oath in the shadows far from the arena, in a hidden chamber deep within the palace, several Cirathian nobles met in secret. One of them slammed a fist on the crystal table. The human survives every test, the noble growled. And worse, and the princess begins to respect him. Another noble hissed, This cannot continue. If the Empress proves his blood claim, House Sarathia will be forever tainted. The leader of the conspirators leaned forward, eyes cold. Then we will remove him, and if the princess stands in the way, We will remove her too. The war games ended with thunderous applause, but Captain Aaron Holt felt no victory. He knew the nobles were not cheering for him. Many had stayed silent, their cold eyes following him as though measuring his worth, or deciding where to strike. Princess, Liara walked beside him through the glowing corridors of the Cirathian palace. Her chin was high, but her voice was softer than before. You fought well, she said finally. Aaron gave her a faint smile. Careful. If you compliment me too much, I might start thinking you like me. Liara rolled her eyes, but there was no real anger in it. Do not think saving me twice has earned my trust. I only acknowledge skill where I see it. Good. Enough for me, Aaron replied. The Empress's command in the Royal Council chamber. The Empress listened as Aaron reported the sabotage of Liara's armor. The tiny explosive charge lay on the crystal table, its power core dead, but its purpose clear. This came from inside your palace, Aaron said firmly. Someone close to you wants both of us gone. The Empress nodded slowly. I know. Liara stared at her mother. You know? And you allow them to live? For now, the Empress said calmly. Open conflict inside these walls would destroy our unity. We must be patient even when the blade is hidden at our throat. Aaron crossed his arms. Patience isn't going to stop them from trying again. We need to move first. The Empress looked at both of them. Then you must work together. Liara, you will train with Captain Holt until the royal confirmation ceremony in 3 days. If someone means to strike again, they will strike then. Liara opened her mouth to protest, but the Empress's gaze silenced her. Aaron gave a short nod. Understood. I'll keep her alive. Reluctant training partners. The next morning, the royal training hall echoed with the hum of energy blades. Liara moved with graceful speed, her silver blade flashing as she struck at a practice target. Aaron watched carefully, adjusting settings on his wrist scanner. You're quick, Aaron said, but you commit too early. If you miss, your opponent gets your back. Liara turned sharply. I have trained since childhood. I do not need lessons from a human soldier. Aaron picked up a practice blade, testing its balance. Then prove it. Try to hit me. Liara smiled coldly. Gladly. She struck fast, but Aaron sidestepped with calm precision. She struck again, harder, and again he avoided the blow, using footwork instead of strength. Liara grew frustrated, her attacks faster and sharper until Aaron finally caught her blade mid-swing and twisted it aside. See? Aaron said calmly. All speed, no patience. Liara glared at him, breathing hard. You mock me. No, Aaron said seriously. I'm keeping you alive. Whoever's after you isn't going to fight fair. You need to stop thinking like a princess and start thinking like a soldier. For the first time, Liara didn't answer with anger. She looked at him, really looked, and saw no pride in his words, only experience. He had been in real battles, not just ceremonial duels. They trained for hours, blades clashing, moving through drills until even Liara's perfect form began to loosen and adapt. She started using feints, misdirection, even sudden retreats, tactics she'd once dismissed as human tricks. At the end of the session, she was breathing hard, but there was a spark of respect in her eyes. You are not what I expected, she admitted quietly. Aaron smiled faintly. Neither are you. The assassins move. Again. That night, the palace was quiet under the 3 moons. But in the shadows, cloaked figures crept through crystal halls. Aaron sensed them before they reached his chamber. Years of combat had sharpened instincts no technology could replace. He slipped into the corridor, blaster ready. 2 attackers lunged at him, armed with curved daggers. Aaron ducked the first strike, countered with a swift blow, and dropped one assailant. The second retreated, throwing a small energy disk down the hall. The disk rolled toward Liara's door. Liara, down! Aaron shouted. The door burst open as Liara stepped out, already holding her blade. Aaron tackled her just as the disk exploded in a flash of blinding light. The shockwave cracked the crystal walls, but both of them were safe. Guards rushed. In too late as the last assassin escaped into the darkness. Liara pushed Aaron off, more surprised than angry. You shielded me? Aaron got to his feet, dusting off his jacket. Would you rather I let you explode? Liara hesitated, then said quietly, No, Thank you. Aaron gave her a tired smile. You're welcome. Again. The confrontation. In the hall the next morning, the palace gathered for an emergency meeting. Aaron stood beside Liara as nobles argued loudly, accusing each other of treachery. Lord Rennick, the rival Aaron had defeated in the war games, stepped forward with a mocking smile. Why are we protecting this human? He brings chaos wherever he walks. Perhaps he planted the bomb to earn the princess's trust. Liara's eyes flashed. That is a lie. Is it? Rennick sneered. He is an outsider, a short-lived warrior with no loyalty to Sarathia. Aaron spoke calmly. If I wanted Liara dead, I wouldn't have saved her twice. The argument grew louder until the Empress raised her hand. The hall fell silent. This ends now, she declared. At the confirmation ceremony, I will reveal the full truth of Captain Holt's bloodline. Any who challenge it may do so openly, if they dare. Rennick's eyes gleamed with malice. Then I challenge now. Trial by combat. If he survives, we accept his claim. If not, the matter ends. The Empress looked at Aaron. Do you accept? Aaron glanced at Liara, who was pale but silent, then nodded. I accept. Preparing for battle. That evening, Aaron and Liara trained harder than ever. She fought not as a princess but as a warrior, her pride tempered by fear. Not for herself but for him. You cannot face Rennick alone, Liara said between strikes. He will cheat. His house always cheats. Aaron parried her blade, steady and calm. Good. Cheaters are predictable. They always rely on tricks instead of skill. Liara lowered her blade. Why are you not afraid? Aaron smiled faintly. I've been afraid plenty of times. You just learned to keep moving anyway. For the first time, Liara's voice softened. If you are truly my sire, I will not let you fall. Aaron looked at her, surprised by the sudden honesty. And if I'm not? Liara's violet eyes shone. Then I will still fight beside you, because you've already proved yourself more than any Sarathian noble. The blood oath on. The night before the duel, the Empress met Aaron in a quiet chamber, lit by crystal flames. She held a slender ceremonial blade, glowing faintly. This is the oath blade, she said. It binds those who swear to protect each other. Aaron frowned. Sounds serious. The Empress nodded. If you take this oath with Liara, you will both share its burden. If one falls, the other feels it. Aaron hesitated only a moment. Let's do it. Liara stepped forward, placing her hand over the blade opposite Aaron's. Together they repeated the ancient Sarathian words. The crystal light flared, and Aaron felt a strange warmth, as though some invisible bond now linked them. It is done, the Empress said softly. Tomorrow you fight not just for your life, Captain Holt, but for the future of both our peoples. Aaron gave a small nod. Then I'd better win. The great hall of the Seraphim Palace was filled with voices. Alien nobles whispered to each other, glancing at the human warrior who stood at the center. Their faces showed both fear and curiosity. They had seen humans before, but never one who stood so proud and calm in front of an entire royal court. Kale's armor was scratched, his shoulders heavy from long battles, yet his eyes stayed sharp. Beside him, Princess Vera sat quietly. The proud look she once wore was gone, replaced by thoughtfulness. Her mother, Queen Arasha, sat on the throne, her long silver robe flowing around her like a river of light. Kyle of Terra, the queen said, her voice steady but soft. You have saved our people twice. You stood when others fled. And now, you must make a choice. The hall fell silent. Kale looked around at the alien nobles. Many of them still doubted him. Some hated him. But the Queen's eyes were honest, and Princess Vera's eyes, they were different now. No mockery, no coldness, only respect and something like regret. "What choice?" Kael asked. His voice echoed against the high walls. The Queen rose, to her feet. "Our world is weak from war. We need a guardian, someone who will command both human and Seraphin forces. We offer you a title, a home here, and—" she glanced at her daughter. "A bond with our royal line. But this path will make you part of us forever. You would no longer be only human." The words rippled through the court like wind through tall grass. Vera stood now, her voice clear. "I mocked you, Kael. I thought humans were soft. I was wrong. You have more courage than any knight in our realm. If you accept, I will stand with you. Not because my mother commands it, but because I want to." Kael studied her. He remembered the first day he met her. The way she laughed at his plain armor. The way she called him unworthy. And now she stood before everyone, showing respect to a human warrior. But Kael's thoughts were not only about her. He thought of his home, of Earth's blue oceans and quiet fields. Could he really leave it behind? Could he become part of this alien world, sworn to protect people who once mocked him? "Why me?" Kael asked. "You have generals. You have armies." The Queen spoke again, her voice strong now. "Because they follow rules. You follow honor. You risk your life for strangers. You even saved those who insulted you. That is what makes you different. That is what makes you worthy." Kael stood, silent for a moment. Everyone watched him, holding their breath. Then he smiled slightly, a smile that carried both sadness and pride. "I will protect this world," Kael said. "Not because of titles, not because of thrones, but because it is right. But I will not give up being human. My heart belongs to Earth, even if my duty calls me here." The hall erupted in murmurs again, but the Queen raised her hand. "Then so it shall be. You will command as a free man, not as a subject. Our alliance will be one of equals." Vera stepped closer. "And what of us?" she asked softly. Her words were not just for Kael, but for everyone to hear. Kael looked at her with calm eyes. "We will see, Princess. Trust is earned, not given. But today, you have taken your first step." A strange feeling passed between them. Not romance, not duty, but something deeper. Respect. A bond forged in fire, not ceremony. The Queen descended from the throne and placed a silver crest on Kael's chestplate. "From this day," she said, "you are guardian of Seraphis and defender of Earth. No voice shall speak against you without answering to me." The nobles bowed. Even those who disliked humans lowered their heads. Kael did not gloat. He only nodded and said, "Then let us begin rebuilding, together." Days turned into weeks. Kael trained Seraphan soldiers, teaching them human tactics. Fast strikes, clever traps, courage over fear. The Seraphins, in turn, shared their advanced technology with humans. Trade ships crossed the stars carrying food, medicine, and knowledge. Princess. Vera often came to watch Kael train the troops. She no longer carried the pride of someone born into power. Instead, she learned beside the soldiers, sweating and stumbling just like them. Kael treated her not as royalty but as a student, and she respected him even more for it. One evening, as twin moons rose over the palace, Vera approached Kael on the training grounds. "The people speak of you now," she said. "They say, 'A human warrior saved our world.'" Kael shrugged. "They will forget soon enough. Peace makes people forget." Vera smiled slightly. "Then we will remind them, not with words, but with deeds." Kael looked at her with approval. "Good. That's what leaders do." There was silence for a moment, broken only by the wind. Then Vera spoke again. "I was wrong about humans. I thought strength came from power and bloodline, but you showed me strength comes from heart." Kael gave a small grin. "And you showed me that even royalty can learn." Months later, a new threat appeared in the distance. strange ships on the edge of Seraphan space. But this time, the people were ready. Under Kale's guidance, human and Seraphan fleets stood side by side, their banners flying together. When the enemy saw this unity, they turned away without a fight. For the first time, humans and Seraphans truly trusted each other. In the royal hall, the queen spoke to her council. "This alliance is more than protection," she said. "It is hope." She turned to Kyle. "You have given my people that hope." Kale simply bowed. "Then my duty is done." Vera stepped forward quickly. "No, Kale, it has only begun. Stay with us, help us keep this peace." Kale looked at her and then at the queen. "I will," he said, "as long as I draw breath." And so the human warrior, once mocked by an alien princess, became the bridge between two worlds. Not through fear, not through conquest, but through honor, courage, and respect.